BMW still sounds like it has a cam V8 in it. That's all right, because we're going to take it racing at two different events. One at Limerock Park on the small track, and then the second one out in Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. We still have a bunch of work to do, so we're going to try to see if we can find any intake leaks and figure out why it's running so rich. We'll also test some sensors, and I need to put new tires on it.
Someone had a night with Mike's BMW.
So, stick around, and there will be some track driving at the end.
Sheesh.
So, our main goal is to get to Pocono to do a full, complete track day and not have any issues. To find any and all vacuum leaks on our 1990 BMW 325i race car. The way we're going to do it is we order this kit off eBay, which basically includes everything we need to make a pressurized smoker. So we can get this all drilled out and assembled, hook this up to a battery, through some mineral oil, make some smoke, put it into the intake system here, and that way smoke will come out from anywhere where there's any leaks, which will be super, super helpful for us. All right, so let's get started. Holes drilled there. Next, what we gotta do is gotta figure out how to get smoke to go from this little nozzle and fit tightly against here. After hunting around in the garage, found that the cap for a spray paint can fits in there perfectly. So I'm just gonna drill it out and get our vacuum line in there. So we'll get it put in the intake there. And we're only going to be running 2 psi of pressure, so it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so we've got it all hooked up, and it doesn't look like there's too much smoke coming out of it yet, so that's okay. Nope, there's a little bit. It looks like it's coming from underneath the throttle body, and there's a spot where we blocked off the hose that goes from the throttle body to the charcoal canister. So might have to slap some hose clamps on that. Hopefully that'll fix it. So you can tell we're running super rich because of how fouled our spark plugs are. So we're going to run a compression test, see if the engine's healthy. Then we'll also do a leak down test and a fuel pressure test. All right, not bad compression, even though the starter sounded insane. I'm also going to put this better in the charger, but there we go, 150 again. Okay. All right, that one's a little higher than the rest, like 160? 60? Yeah. It's not bad. But still, what is that, 135, 140? Pretty close. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a rough idle. Daytime. So we got a little bit of noise, but basically the same. It sounds like it's coming from right here, from the dipstick tube. And here's cylinder 6. A little bit of noise from PCV and dipstick tube, but otherwise not too bad. Only a couple of degrees off. We are at cylinder number 5. Looks pretty okay. And getting progressively worse. Okay. I don't know what that click over is. This looks fine, like higher up. Number 2. Let me see if we can get the light out of the way. There we go. Almost entirely out of dipstick tube and PCV when it's actually going. And there's only a little bit 2 psi. So let's see as we go up. Once we're over 25, it just jumps right up. It's a weird behavior. And anything that is coming out of here. The compression test on this wasn't too terrible. And we're not even really getting stupid glare. We're at 70 over here, 70 over there. Not bad. What was the other thing we did? Oh, and we also checked compression. Motor's pretty healthy as far as the compression test and leak down test goes. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check all of our sensors. Get some of them out of the way out of the car right now. We're gonna check our mass airflow sensor, our idle control valve. There's this pin right here. And then we have our throttle position sensor, which on these cars sometimes gets oily. We also have our O2 sensor way down in there we gotta check. All right, so we're gonna check with continuity from the first pin to that center pin. So we'll put those on there, and as you can see, we have continuity. So we're gonna hold this with one hand. As you can see, we get As you see, we get continuity noted by the zeros there, and as soon as we open it, we should lose that continuity. There you go. We even hear like a little tiniest click as we're coming out there. So that's good there. And we're gonna test between the center and the outside pin. And that one we should not have continuity until we're pretty much at wide open throttle. So we're gonna go all the way. There we go. Drops right down to 0 and then comes right back off again. All right, so it looks like the throttle position sensor is not our issue. Sometimes they get oiled up, but it's not too bad. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna test the O2 sensors. We're gonna strip this back, and then this black wire should be the sender wire. So we're gonna strip that back just a little bit so that we'll be able to get our thingamajig on there. Okay, I believe that should give us enough. Now our multimeter here. A little extra. So got that wrapped around there. Going to our positive lead, and then we're gonna ground out the other lead. And the ignition should get a change of volts. All right, so that's about to be expected. So now we're gonna start the car and let it warm up and see what happens there. So we got our air box taken apart, and then we're gonna get we're gonna get airflow meter off by taking off these 4 screws and that guy on the outside. And next, we're gonna cut the silicone seal that goes all the way around this plastic cap. I'm gonna pry around, well, as gently as I can, trying to get this plastic cover off. Probably gonna snap it in half. And that's how the magic happens. All right, so now we gotta figure out how this works. It goes, the air comes whooshing in and moves that needle there, moving the little flapper door. So we just gotta make ours work right, or make sure that it is working right. And the issue isn't somewhere else in that piece of junk. All this stuff out of the way, unplug these, and disconnect the fuel lines. Next, we gotta go through and unclip all of the fuel injectors, which is kind of fun because this one doesn't have a wire, it has like a little box. It's all right, just gonna push on that clip. Just kind of push on that. All you gotta do is you gotta push on. So this is the wiring harness. There we go. This nice little box, so we'll get that out. All right, so So now we're gonna go across and get all those bolts out that hold the fuel rail in place. All right, so apparently the fuel rail doesn't fit between here, so we're gonna get the valve cover off. All right, so now we can take this out. All right, so we've got our fuel rail out of the car. Those aren't looking too clean. So those are pretty crudted up. The O-rings are a little bit beat up. That's all right. Yeah, they're looking pretty bad. So we'll get those cleaned up. We're also going to clean up those holes a little bit. Okay, you can see down in there a little bit. But yeah, we're going to clean those up because those are looking... We might even pull the whole intake off because those are pretty bad. All right, now that the intake's clean, we decided to just replace the fuel injectors just to eliminate the possibility. We're going to keep them and rebuild them at some point, but we're going to get the O-rings lubed up with the new ones, put the new ones in the fuel rail, and get that fuel rail put back into the intake there. Everything's nice and squeaky clean. There's no dirt in the engine. There's no dirt like in the tips of the fuel injectors. And we don't have to worry about any like wiring issues or electrical issues on the fuel injectors themselves. So that'll be kind of nice. So you just have to kind of finagle and wiggle and push and it'll be good. The other issue it seems we have is I can't blow through the return line for the fuel system. We're going to use a fuel pressure gauge just to see what's actually going on. I'm just going to assume it's clogged. So we're going to use this little jumper wire to jump the fuel pump relay. So once we turn the ignition on, the fuel pump will just run consistently. Good. What we're going to do, the return line goes in the bottom of the tank. We're going to just connect it right here. We're probably going to replace it at some point. We're just gonna... Alright, we got bicycle cable attached to the drill. So we're going to gently try to first work it in as far as we can. And then we're gonna All right, so we've got the return line cleaned out by running a bicycle cable through it on the end of a drill. It's running a lot better, no more smoke, and it's a little rough still, but much, much better sounding, and it's ready to race. Probably could have gotten a couple more seasons out of it. Probably fine. All right, now that the ASMR tire change is over, we got new rubber and car's running well. Let's go to MFEST. All right, MFEST with modified machines was tons of fun. A little chilly, but tons of fun. But now it's time for Pocono, so we trailered the car to this, and it was another chilly, freezing cold day in the morning and a little bit drizzly all day. First couple sessions were a little bit crowded, but throughout the day, kind of spread out as people kind of dropped out because of the rain. And the last session day was like perfect. So here's a few minutes of lapping. That last hour of open lapping at Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania was like perfection. Car was running great. There was like almost nobody on the track. Weather was pretty great. This was my last event of the season of 2023, so hopefully car runs good next year. Thanks for watching.